Wait, you're not coming? Are you coming? Look there. Look there. Look there, boy. Look there, boy. Whew. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra Aneno, and if we are meeting for the very first time, you are most welcome and I hope you stick around. Now this week, finally, I have a male guest on the show and I am so excited because some of you have been asking me, Sandra, when do we get a male person on the show? So finally, here we are. I have a special guest lined up. I can't wait for you to hear from him. He's a hardworking man, he's a good father, he's a loving husband, and his mind is very rich. I can't wait for you guys to be enriched by him. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from that break, and with me is the guest that I promised you about. I praised him here. I said knowledgeable, a man of valor, a father, a husband, and he's here today to share his experience on the topic, the house help in the marital home. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hello viewers, I don't know what they said, but I'm Didas Mwesigye. I'm a husband to one wife, and I think I want to keep it that way. I have 2 children. We've been married for, I need to cross-check with my wife, but I think it's 10 years.
Like 10 years, eh?
Yes, like 10 years. Actually, it's 10 years. No, actually, I think it's 11 years, because our firstborn is 9. And then our second-born, not last-born, second-born is 6 years. So it's been a good one. I like it. I like the journey we've had. Of course, I work. I come to Teen Challenge. I run Teen Challenge.
Tell us a bit about Teen Challenge.
It's a rehabilitation or recovery program. Really what we do is we work and work with people with life-controlling issues. We try to put hope within their reach, let them know that things can be different. They don't have to go down the path of destruction with drugs and alcohol and any other life-controlling issues. So we have a 12-month program. It's our residential center where we sit them and then work with them. We also do lots of outreaches. That's in homes and on the streets and in ghettos and really wherever you can find people like those. So that's what I do, literally for a living, and plus some other things. Yes.
So that's another hat that Didas puts on. He's the director of Teen Challenge Uganda, and he does amazing work. Go over to Facebook and check out their page, Teen Challenge Uganda, and see what they do. And if you have anybody who you know who could benefit from those services, please don't hesitate to reach out. He's been doing it for a while. He knows what he's doing. He has people around him who support his dream and his vision. So your loved ones would be in the right hands. They would be right at home. But apart from that, what has brought us here today is for you to share your experience on the topic, the house help in the marital home. First of all, do you think this is a good topic subject to take?
I think it is. I really think it is. For the 10 years, when I was single, I didn't need a house help. Actually, I think I had one.
When you were single?
I think that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. But I think I had one. I think I had one. Yes, I think I had one. I was actually on a mission field. I would leave early in the morning and go and come back late in the night. So in the neighborhood, there is a lady who told me she has a daughter who can do some work for me. So I left that lady my key. I come back. I used to stay in a hut. So I would come back and my hut is all mopped. She has cooked some food, my clothes are ironed, and I never talked with this lady, this girl or anything. We had this kind of relation. She has her key, I have my key.
You come, do what you need to do.
So she comes, does her things, and funny enough, we never met.
We never communicated.
Like, she knows when I'm away, she comes in and does her things. When I'm around, she doesn't show up. So that was another actually, I'd even forgotten that one.
You remember?
But that one was there. But in the home, I think this is a very, very key topic to talk about, because these are people that are, I would use a statement like, we love to hate them.
Yes.
We need them, we want them, but also they know how to get to us. They know how to mess up everything. And you wish you didn't need them.
You wish you didn't need them, yes.
So I think it's really quite key to speak about it and address some issues.
And you're here to help us address those issues.
I hope I can do that.
I trust that you can, Mr. Didas. So
Yes.
the first thing that I'll pick your mind on is, when I was preparing for this, I went online and I did a lot of research, and two things came up very prominently. One was the issue of husbands who treat their wives like maids. Like you get married, and in the marital home, your husband does not want to lift a hand to do anything. It's as if now you become the house help yourself. So, and I was also reading that it's one of the reasons that leads to a lot of conflict in the marital home. Like, why don't you help me mop? Who is supposed to do this? Like that division of household chores is not distinct. What's your take on that?
When you use a statement like, you treat your house like the house help, I think we need to know what are the roles of a house help.
Yes.
But I think we'll dive that into, we'll talk about that later. But I think the confusion comes in with a mix-up of roles. A mix-up of roles, and also the expectations we put on each other.
As a husband and wife.
As a husband and wife. But all this comes from way back, from our homes. I get married. For me now, like my home, actually I'll tell you this, like for my home, when I was growing up, my dad would wake up, his shirt is ironed,
everything is sorted.
The table is laid for his katogo, there is tea for him to drink, water is there, those days showers were those things, there is hot water there for him to shower. And I told myself, I'm going to get married one of these days. This is the life.
If this is the life I also want it.
I'm going to get married. So imagine I grow up with that expectation and I carry that into my marriage. I get into my marriage and that's not what it is.
Oh yeah.
But back to the place of roles. You know, long ago, roles were very defined. A man goes out, hunts, looks for food. He's the breadwinner. It's clear cut. You're the one who's supposed to look after the family.
Yes.
The wife, you stay home, look after the children, run the home. That was literally like your office. So things were a little bit very defined. But in this generation, things are all jumbled up.
It's mixed up.
It's all mixed up.
Yeah.
The man can no longer stand and say, I am the breadwinner, I do this. Because there are wives who earn more money than the husband.
And their husbands. And it's the reality.
And
JBD.
So how do you start telling, I'm the breadwinner, yet she brings in more money in the home than... so men find themselves a little bit misplaced. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to fit into these roles, and some don't even know. For example, me, at my home, my wife does more cooking than me.
Yeah.
But the whole reason she does that because she cooks better than me.
Better than you, yes.
Most times when I do it, some meals I mess them up. So that means I ruin our dinner.
Yes.
So I would rather she does it and then we enjoy the meal. So in that way, maybe I've neglected that role to her, but it's more of a selfish part because I want to eat good food.
So then don't you think that maybe there should be like some sort of conversation between the husband and the wife to like have a division, a proper division of household chores, so that none of them feels like it is left up to the husband alone or it's left up to the woman alone? Do you think there should be some sort of division of those?
Yeah, of course they should. I've had an opportunity to do counseling for people who are just getting into marriage. And I talked about about unexpected, unnecessary expectations on each other. So if such things are not addressed, if such conversations don't come back, there is silent pains and silent conflict.
You find people keeping up things.
Keeping up things.
I cook.
Of course, the home is for two people.
Yes.
Unlike, I'm not saying this is ideal, but normally the way it's supposed to be, you start a family, two of you, husband and wife, unless there is a child who, like you, get married and there are children. But apparently you start between two of you. So you're supposed to know that this is our home.
Exactly.
And how do we run things in our home? So conversations are supposed to come also not only on other issues, but also on chores at home.
Yes.
Okay, so there are those cases where the woman stays home the whole day, and the man has to go work, then come back, and of course he needs refreshment, and then so that he can have his energies for the following day. But then there are all those cases you leave and go, and all you come back together. And then the man just sits with the remote and flips through the TV, and then you run around to make food and all those things. Of course, I know you talked about what if it's the man
who has to stay home, because roles have changed.
So, but I think, of course, we can paint many scenarios on this. But again, it's the talks, it's the conversations, it's the communication.
It goes back to that.
It goes back to that, because even if the man stays home, what if he can't do those things? He doesn't want to do those things. Does that mean everything will fall apart? And again, I think that's where the whole maid part has to be thrown into the picture. And you see how, of course, things have to be done in the home.
Perfect.
Yes.
So now when you recognize the need for a house help, because you've had house helps before, right?
Yes.
How many have you had?
Countless. I don't know, but I've had over 10 of them.
You've had over 10
I've had
of them.
very many of them. Yes.
Perfect.
Those who have lasted a month, a day, years. We've had quite a number.
So when you were selecting which house help you decided to bring into the family, did you take part? Like, were you there to discuss maybe with Stella and say this one yes, this one no? Like, do you think it's necessary for a husband to take part in the vetting process when they're selecting who you're bringing into your home? Do you think it's important?
Of course it is. It is important, but I would imagine as a wife, you know your husband. You guys know what you want. So, like for me, I don't sit in the vetting.
You trust that Stella knows
she knows what we want in the home, the kind of person we want in the home. It's just, like for me, I've been part of getting them. I've known people who can get them for us, but when we get the person, then she sits with them, because I try to distance myself from them. I don't work directly with them, so because I can frustrate them.
Frustrate them how? How? We don't pay you.
I am a bit...
You're particular.
Yes, so, but her, she's a little bit
flexible,
engaging, and she knows how to work with them. So she vets them. I bring them to her, and she vets them with that understanding that she's going to work with them. Like I told you, in our home, she does them of the cooking and some of those things.
Administration.
Yes, so she will directly be working with her. And the fact that it's a lady,
yes,
I feel better gay, right? They will understand each other. They can talk the same language, and they can work together. So for me, that's why I don't sit in those meetings. But for hunting, I'm involved in the hunting.
Oh, you're involved.
So we all hunt, whoever gets brings.
Okay,
and
that's
then we vet, yes.
Okay. So despite the fact that maybe you don't sit in the meetings when Stella, your wife, is vetting, but what 5 traits do you think would be nice to have in a house help who you're bringing into a marital home? Because it's different.
Yes, it is.
It's different when maybe you're just doing life together, you have the need for a maid, but you're not married, but now the status has changed. You're now husband and wife.
Yes.
What 5 traits you as a husband and father you think are important to see in a house help that you let inside your home?
It gets back to why you're getting this person. For us, we've never got a person, a maid, to help us with cures. They came into the picture when the children came in.
Yes.
So we've always got them for the children.
For the children.
So that means all the traits we want have to be centered around. Of course, not all, but Most of them. Like
yes.
we've always wanted someone who can speak English. Because our children don't know Luganda. That's on earth. They don't know any other language, they know English. So for communication, we want someone who can speak English.
Yes.
A little bit educated in that part. But ultimately, we want someone who knows, secondly, who knows God,
Yes.
who fears God. And that is very key for us. We've had people who come in, they're not saved, but we try to introduce God to them. Of course, I don't want a witch in my home.
Who wants a witch in their home? No one wants a witch. They're there.
I've had stories of too many stories of someone manifesting and doing their juju. Or I want to go back home. Of course, and his mother, you know.
Is a liar.
So we try to make sure that this person, they might not be confessing Christians, but they have to have a fear of God on them.
Some sort of moral compass.
Exactly. But also just because we are all going to go away, at a given time, all going to go away and leave you with our children. So I want to know that there is the fear of God on you, so that you won't be able to do certain things. Again, we leave that to chance. Then secondly, a rather third point is we want someone who's clean. You know what you're doing. You don't want to wash somebody's shirt and it's stained, or
it was white, now you've been around for 2 weeks.
You come back into a home, things are all over the place, and the fourth is someone who is respectful. You now this is funny. We got I think there's a time we got, you know, there's this age gap. You can get of course we don't want babies below 18 mates. It has always been a conviction. I don't want child abuse. I don't want to get
child labor even.
You have a child to look after your children in the home. We've tried to keep her from that, so we get above 18. But then it spans all the way, so you get a woman of like 50 years to come into your home. The problem with these women, they want to mother you.
They want to be mamas.
They want to be your mother and tell you what to do in your home, the way they used to do it then. So when you tell them what to do, they are offended.
There's tension in the house now.
So now that's not respect. I want you to acknowledge that
I'm your employer.
I'm your employer. What I say goes. You can advise, but at the end of the day, I have the final say.
Yes.
So I want someone who has that understanding. And then also, I want someone who is a little bit decent. When I say decent, is like, I mean, I don't find your panties
hanging on the chair in the living room,
and your bras are all over the place, and you're dressed like disgusting around. So someone who has that kind of personal respect, and they carry themselves like that even in their language. And so I try to look out for those things. For me, skill, if you do not know how to do something, if you have those other things, I think you can learn.
You can compromise on the skill level.
Yeah, and we can teach you how to do that thing. Because we've had a principle in our home. Like, we don't want you to live the same way you came, as long as it is on our side. Of course.
So you also want to be of impact to the person.
Exactly. I want when you come in at point A, you leave at like when you're at point somewhere along the line.
That's nice.
So, of course, if you don't have skill, we try to teach you what we can, work with you, disciple you, and that. But that comes when all these other 5 things are in place.
Yes, okay. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think maybe the other interesting thing that I want to pick your mind on is what boundaries do you as a father and a husband in a marital home set in your relationship with? Now this one, I don't even want you to talk from your experience because we already know you distance yourself. But now for like people who are watching, what advice would you give them on 3 boundaries that they can set in their home to make sure that them, the husband and the maid, there is that there is that, because we've heard of like house helps who maybe wreck marriages, who come in and maybe steal husbands, or who come in and like disorganize the home. So you, because you've had many mates, what boundaries you see it?
Oh, that's a tricky one, because it's why I'm saying it's tricky, because most of the issues start from this side. the husband and,
And
wife.
the wife.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
then,
nice.
Then sometimes then they spill over into the maid. What do I say? I want to be careful so that I try to answer your question,
Yeah,
but
answer.
I also try to say the truth.
Yes.
There are boundaries, the areas where a maid doesn't go to. And you know, this is my space. And those should be understood by my husband and wife. Just to be vulnerable here so that people don't think I'm a robot, I've had it all figured out. For me, when I would tell a maid, like sometimes when I would be home, of course when we started marriage, my wife had a 8 to
5 kind of job.
jobs. And me, I had this kind of, I could structure my time. So you would find sometimes I'm the one more at home than her. So I would sometimes have to tell the maid what to do. So sometimes there is a time back then, she was cleaning and I just thought that, you know what, we have to do general cleaning all over the house. Then we tore things down, pulled the fridge this side, cleaned this side. So I opened up all the rooms. Our bedroom, I lifted up the bed up and say, mop. Let's mop everywhere, beat cobwebs.
Clean everything.
Like real clean. So when she came back, she wasn't happy. Like, she shouldn't have come into the bedroom. So me, I was like, it's clean.
You didn't see it because it's clean.
Yes, so it's clean. So for she like she shouldn't have come in. So it took me time to step back and I understand, you know, this is her private world.
Yes.
It's her and mine. No other woman should come into this world. So, but of course now for us, who are still just married and one, so we hadn't said no one should ever come here, no one should ever come here, no one should ever come here. So we knew now that is a boundary.
So you set that together.
So now no one comes in this. If it's dirty, we do it ourselves. Ourselves. Then also the other thing, I don't have what would I call it? Candid conversations
with them.
With them. I don't discuss my wife with them.
I read. Our question of the day is this. What kind of boundaries do you think a husband or father in a home should put up to ensure that there is a smooth working relationship between himself, the wife or mother of the house, the children, and the household? Go ahead in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this because, I mean, this is what, you know, gives us the fuel to keep doing these videos. It lets us know that people are with us on this journey and that, you know, they are learning a thing or two. So go on. Let me know in the comment section.
Okay, so you try not to be personal. Get your marital issues and then present them to this lady. And I think that takes us into the third boundary. It can never be your wife versus the maid.
Yes.
They can never be on the same place. And I feel sorry for men who do that. Actually, I don't feel sorry for them. In all honesty, I despise them. Because how do you even carry around that kind of mindset? So for me, that boundary is clear. If there be any conflict where it is my wife versus the maid, of course my wife is always right. Unless she's an evil woman and you know her. That's her. Then of course you have to come and protect the maid. Because for you, you're used to it and you there and you're okay with it. But this is somebody's daughter and you don't want to see them mistreated. I think it comes back to that principle I told you. We want to esteem this person. Yes. We want them to grow. We want them to live our home better.
When they've also benefited.
So there is no ill intention to destroy them. But of course there are some women who are also, they are very dysfunctional. So they put all their frustrations on this maid. They put all, and for me I can't allow those in my home. And actually, when I see something like that, I always tell my wife, it's not happened, but I would put her aside and tell her, we've had those conversations actually. this area, I think you are a bit hard, or you shouldn't have done it like that. But that's between two of us.
Oh, you have those conversations?
Yes.
People, have you had?
Then we say, you know, maybe you are a little bit too hard. Maybe there was a miscommunication, and so that there is that kind of fairness. But it is never that, okay, wife sit here, maid sit here, and I'm the judge. So who is in the wrong? No.
It can never be like that.
It can never be like that. So we first deal with it here, then we take it the other side. So for me, that boundary is right there. My wife, we are equal in this thing, and she's right. She's always right. Wherever she's not, we talk on our side, then she can go back, and she has had sometimes to apologize to these people.
That is good.
Comes and says, you know what, I think I came too hard on you last time, and I'm really sorry.
And also, if you relate with your household like that, like we said last week, it also puts them in an atmosphere where they want to work, they want to be a part of the family. So if you bring them in for your kids, for example, the energy that you give them is also the energy that they're going to give your kids. If you talk to them disrespectfully, what do you think they're going to do to your kids when you're not around? If you're mean to them, what do you think they're going to do? What you give them is what they're also going to give to your children.
Yes.
So Mr. Didas Mwesigye, the last thing is this. And I know it's a hot topic. Would you let your house help discipline your children? Like, what's your take on that? Do they have the moral authority too? Is it something that you recommend they do? Does it happen? When can it happen? Especially in the instance where, let me say, both husband and wife have like 9 to 5 p.m. jobs. You're not really there on a daily, so this is the person who is with them. Do you, like, are you okay with your household caning your children for something that they did? Like, what does discipline look like? Coach, eh?
It is really like walking on very thin ice.
Hey.
Because like you said, this is the person who is, actually some maids are more with your children
than you are. They are there when you can't.
So you don't want to let some discipline issues pass through the cracks, and then you catch them when it's
later, when it's too late.
But also, on the other side, that's why I'm like, it's very thin ice that we are walking on. I take discipline very serious, and it's very private, because there's a very thin line between abuse and discipline.
Yes.
And me as a parent, I can tell that when I'm doing it to my children. So if I don't want to pass this responsibility over to anyone, at school they do it, I'm uncomfortable with it, but
where teachers step in and discipline your children.
I'm uncomfortable with it, but I don't have much to say about it. Of course, now I choose the school to go to take my children to, and I know how they do their discipline, and I'm okay with the way the way they do it. And that is an institution. I can hold them accountable in case anything happens.
You know where to go.
Yes. But now this is an individual who can easily just abandon the house and run away. You don't know. You can't easily trace them and hold them accountable. So for me, it is a strong no. I can't let maids discipline my children. What I tell them, if there are things that they are not doing right, you let me know. And then I can handle them. We can handle them as a family. Or I can handle them as the father. In the way, because it's a plan. Discipline, it's a strategy. It's laid out. We know how we start it and we know how we end it.
Yes.
We know how we do it. We know how we administer it. And this person doesn't know. This person doesn't know. I've not trained them, and I don't think I would want to entrust them with that.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
Like, do you envision a situation where maybe you can tell your household, like, if my child maybe responds back maybe disrespectfully, maybe you might do this. Do you like see a working relationship where you might be able to pass on some form of disciplining criteria to your household and let them know maybe you can do this, you can go this far, but if it is like this, make sure you come to me. Do you think such a system can work?
Of course, that is trust, levels of trust, and it comes over time. How long have you been with this person? Of course, discipline, we can put it in brackets of just caning, but it's many things. Even just saying
Even
no,
speaking, yes.
even just saying no, don't do that. Of course, I would want them to do that. I can empower them to do that. When do you say no, and when do you say yes? I don't want them to say yes where I would have said no. I don't want them to say no where I would have said yes.
So that means it's possible to give them some sort of small training.
But it's on trust. It's on this place of trust where I know. Where I know. But if we've raised our children a certain way, I can leave them a whole day's program and I know they will work through it. And for you, your role is just oversight. Oversight to ensure they're doing their work, they're eating their meals, they're laying their bed, they're playing. And your role is oversight. You don't have to tell them, oh, it's time to do this, it's time to do this. But of course, like you said, you can empower them.
Yes.
You can empower them with little bits. If they don't abuse them, you keep throwing in something.
Because I'm also envisioning a scenario where in a marital home, if the household is unable to impart some sort of discipline to a child, don't you think that can also go to like a child's head of that thing?
And
of
they abuse.
Yes. You get right. I can do this and I'll get away with it.
You're right. They can get to that place, and you don't want.
And you don't want.
And the other part where we teach our children is this is a house help, and they also have to respect, because this is an adult.
Yes.
This is a very vital piece in our family, a very important person in our family.
Yes.
So if anyone is despising her, that is a discipline for them.
Yes.
Because you don't want them to grow with this attitude
of minimizing and underlooking
exactly
people. Yes.
So we want to make sure they don't go there. They don't do that. But then we need to protect. I told you these are people we love to hate. You've seen men doing crazy things, all in the name of, they get angry.
They get
like for us, we
frustrated.
don't discipline our children out of anger. But a maid
can possibly do it out of anger and frustration towards the employer, not even the child.
Yes. So it's very thin ice, and you have to have this discernment as a parent to see where do you empower the house help and where do you discipline your children. We try to raise up our children to a place where they can do things themselves.
Yes.
In that they don't even need the maid. It's just that they are young, they cannot do certain things, and you can't just leave them in the household by themselves.
Yes.
So there has to be that balance. But telling them that, hey, like, you remember those days where the parent comes to the teacher at school, if they're not doing a more
even me here myself. Like it took a village to raise a kid.
Exactly. So you don't want to do that, otherwise they can abuse your child without you knowing.
So ladies and gentlemen, I think you have seen that I picked the right person to talk about this topic of the household in your marital home. You have had his advice. I think it's very beautiful advice. So like all good things, this video has come to an end, but I am so thankful to each and every one of you for watching every single week. When I see, it's just really humbling to know that people are with me on this journey, that people tune in every Saturday to watch the content that we put up. I don't take it for granted. I don't take it lightly. So thank you so much for all the love and support. If you haven't yet subscribed, go on and subscribe. If you haven't yet hit the notification bell, ding ding ding, hit it so that you don't miss out on any of the content that I share here on this channel. Apart from that, next week as usual I have something exciting lined up. I cannot wait for you to watch it. So yeah, have a lovely week. Be productive, hit the goals, set goals and hit them. Whatever it is that you do, be a better version of yourself at the end of the week. Apart from that, from me to you and yours, thank you so much and have a lovely week. Bye. Do, 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 do. Do.